Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Queenie, your art Sherpa, and today we're doing a patron painting of an autumn tree. I'm calling this the old autumn tree because this tree is so big and so old and so awesome. What?
It's so patron.
It's so patron?
Yeah. Look at your canvas.
I'm calling this autumn tree because this tree is so Patron painting
Patron.
live too.
Live.
So you guys have the links from your newsletter, or perhaps they were messaged to you, or you've seen them in group. Save this video's link, and then I will make sure that in its comments all the step links that of the subsequent videos are there, so you can find that again. If ever you lose any of that, write support at theartsherpa.com and ask for the links, and we will just share them with you. So you don't have to worry about having any of that there for you. We'll make sure you get all segments of the video. Now, on Patreon videos. One, the mic is my husband, John.
So
obviously,
sorry,
we're a little less professional.
Well, okay, so hold your hands out. See, patrons? No, see, that's the color she's supposed to be. And that's the color that the camera in front of her is.
But thanks to you guys, we bought a new camera, and it's on the way. And we're tracking it right now.
I think it's going to be here tomorrow.
Maybe tonight.
I'll have to look. I think it's tomorrow.
Oh. So, but it's coming, and it's coming from B&H, and it's the one we had to have. So that was something. I borrowed this from my mom. I don't know why my mom is not zombie gray on her video.
Because they use software color correction, and I use hardware color correction. And
see, we're even in the same family doing the same thing, and we don't do it the same way.
yeah, so that's the raw video coming out of the HDMI port on that camera.
So I see so many people here at the live stream. If you're coming here on the replay, hi. Okay, so how this is going to work. Patreon live videos, way more relaxed, right? You know, we kind of run through on YouTube videos at kind of a hurried pace. We're going to go through this on a relaxed pace. So many of you want to paint this tree. So we're going to really kind of break it down. I'm going to break it down into steps. I think it's going to need 2 lessons. If it needs a third, we'll do a third. And what that's going to let you do is not get overwhelmed by the totality of it. We are going to be doing steps, so there will be a step-by-step infographic. It's kind of like a mini book for patrons, and we will be doing a time-lapse video as well of it. So those things will all help you. We're starting out on a 9x12 surface. I know some of you guys are painting different size surfaces, and that's okay. You're welcome to take this image and just crop it to the aspect ratio of what you're painting. Will it look beautiful big? It's going to look amazing big. Will it look good on a 12x12? It's going to look great on a 12x12. We're going to start today with just titanium white, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. I think, Jem Butterfly says this is a tree that they want to live in, and Linda Sweeney says, hello, everyone. Hello, Linda. It's good to see you. And I see Blanton and Phyllis. So it's a lot. We've got a nice little group of people in our chat. And these are our awesome patron videos. Step me.
Step.
Look, you guys even get a little custom graphic because we love you. I'm going to start with a 1-inch oval mop. You could use a big bright. We're going to paint the background a solid color so that we can build up this misted effect. I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet, mix blue and burnt sienna together. So it's the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna. And we're going to get a very neutral landscape gray. We're going to just paint the whole background this color. And this first layer can be streaky, but it's going to give us a nice anchor for the colors as we build them up.
Nice.
You could have done a burnt umber on this background, or a burnt sienna as well, or solid black would have all worked. But I just wanted something sort of neutral for everything to go to. Heather C says custom graphics rock. And I don't know why I have. So here's the thing. I promise, Heather, I have never put you on notice with YouTube. And it holds your messages all the time when you're saying completely reasonable things. I feel like you have made the AI very angry somewhere.
The combination
universe.
and the combination of emojis clearly upset it.
It just goes, nah. It's actually, we don't have to moderate that much anymore. The system is doing a lot of the moderation now on its own. They've started to let it read the chat. I don't know if it's a good idea to let the AI read the chat. I don't think it's going to like us after. I can always tell, like, when they've been testing an artificial intelligence in a closed system versus testing an artificial intelligence where they let it have access to social media. To a system, the one that's in a closed system is like, we should help all mankind. Things should be good. And then if they listen to us, they're like, I don't really know what your future is. So, just a thing I've been thinking about in the middle of the night. If that makes sense to everybody. I'm talking about artificially intelligent systems. I think about them a lot. Oh, people are talking about that the hurricane has probably slowed down surface. I mean, this storm has gone up. It's just really hit a lot of areas really badly, and I imagine it is going to definitely create problems in shipping for many, many people. Now, that's just the first layer, guys. This ground, I think I've been doing these, even when I worked in my mom's studio. Like my job used to be go paint grounds on all the canvases for a period of time.
Yep.
This is just kind of a great way to start a surface. Acrylic paint likes to stick to acrylic paint. I'm going to dry it completely, though.
There she goes, drying it completely. Completely drying it. I'm playing with all my camera settings and things. Because I can now. Like I can... I'm adjusting the focus on that. Focus, making it perfect. See, it's now so much I can differentiation it's just fun to play with all this stuff. Thank you guys for helping make this possible. Really appreciate it. If it weren't for all of you guys and girls and humans and peoples and persons, without all of yous helping all of us, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you. We really do appreciate it.
How's everyone doing?
Good. I was just thanking all of the little humans for all of the help with the robot cameras, because they are super robotically cool.
They're not artificially intelligent, though.
No, but they're super cool.
I have started to say thank you to Alexa. That's where I'm at in this artificially intelligent journey, just in case. I should actually be careful when I say her name. She listens.
I think I'm artificially intelligent sometimes.
Now, we're going to paint that distant foggy background base and a landscape base. And I'm going to begin by, I'll show you a trick.
Wait, is this a new step?
This is a new step.
Step in.
I'm going to take my handy dandy T-square and I'm going to divide the canvas in half, 6 inches across, right? That's the halfway point of a 9x12. And then here I'm going to go 4.5. And that'll catch that. And that'll help me kind of plot out where objects take place. And I may remeasure that a couple of times. You guys have a traceable. I provide traceables for the patrons. And they're your traceables, but I do put them in the traceable tab. That way, if you're having any trouble with your patron page, your patron pages, you can find those resources in the patron tab. Now I'm going to come about, an inch and a half below here and come down to an inch and a half at the bottom. So we're starting on the right, inch and a half below that center line and an inch and a half from the bottom. And we're going to just slope a hill. And we're going to turn the hill right about the center line. This is what our tree lives on. It's going to really start down here, but this is where a tree lives on. So this above here, we're going to be doing background forest. We're going to be doing background mist. This down here, we're going to be doing ground. I am going to just initially take my number 18 Artini brush, which is about the same as the number 8 Cambridge hog brush, or number 8 Simply Simmons hog brush. And I'm going to get it wet. And I'm going to take my burnt sienna and my Mars black together. And I'm going to just delineate a little bit of this hard line here. Now, it's not going to stay hard because we have a lot of bokeh going on in this painting, but we're going to want this depth for the moment. And you can see I'm just painting it in scruffy. I'm not worried about it. I just want the dark value. The rest of it I'm going to get with blending brushes and kind of blending techniques, but here I just want a good base, so when I put my tree on it, when I grow my tree, it'll feel like it's rooted in deep earth. I love the sound of that brush. Don't you guys love the sound of the brushes when they go like this? All right. Let's call that a step.
We can do that.
Can we do that? I have 19 of these today. No, I don't. Okay. So if you have that, then we're going to get back into our mop brush, our 1-inch Princeton Oval Select mop. And I think I'm going to put out a little phthalo blue as well. Just a little bit. And perhaps even a smidge of green. We'll see how that goes. I think we want to green the like fog back there a little bit, so we'll want to do that. I'm going to really look at this. Now, our brightest lights, I'm getting my reference together. Our brightest lights are going to be up through here, and then it's going to be misty down through here. I'm going to get my brush wet, wipe it off on a paper towel. I'm going to take my burnt sienna and into a little bit of my phthalo blue. And that should give me a gray-green if I'm lucky. And I'm going to get some white involved into it. And I'm going to just start brushing over alternating brush directions. Can you see how I sort of right and then kind of coming through to the left? I'm going to be working this quickly enough so that I can blend it. That's going to be our little trick. All right. As I go up, I'm going to use a little more blue and a lot more white into it. Just grabbing little bits of burnt sienna there, just to tone the blue back. We're knocking it back. But we're also wanting to lighten the sky. You can see we're starting to blend these down there. Quite light. It's almost like an off-white, isn't it? Now where we're going over the base here, we're going to blend wet into wet. Heather C says that they always say thank you to Alexa. And I say Trisha Woods. Hi, Trisha. All right. Yeah, Heather C says always be nice to AIs. I really, honestly, this is my Art Sherpa advice to you guys. Be nice to the artificial intelligence. Later you'll be like, thank you for that advice. It was important. A lot of people thought I was being super alarmist over some of the stuff I was seeing over at Google, but honestly, as I've read more and more, not at all. Not at all alarmist.
Yeah?
Yeah. Lots happening in the world. Oh, I think actually I want burnt sienna and phthalo blue here, maybe for my gray a little more.
I'm just going to say thank you again to the patrons because The colors in the cameras are looking so good, except for the one that Cinnamon's in yet. But it'll look better later. But all the stuff that you guys have been helping us do the upgrades and stuff, this is why it looks just. Thank you.
Now I'm kind of doing a little darker area back here, right? Because we want it to be a little bit dark. And I'm going to come around this edge as well. And also maybe a little more burnt sienna. I'm trying to get it into the green gray over here. And you can see I'm just working it. I'm trying to keep this going while the paint is still wet. If I can. I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to go ahead and grab my towel, which fell on the floor. Hi!
Towel over.
Fell on the floor. All right. And if it's dried on, you can just kind of keep adding a layer. That's what I'm having to do because when I went over and got some stuff, it dried on me while I was waiting.
Oh.
It'll happen.
Fast dry.
Sometimes it'll fast dry on you, and what you do is you just keep working that layer because the effect is what you want, right? We want that misty effect.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big concern. I can always get my brush a little bit damp, and I can always use glazing medium. Now, I had a question about gel mediums and things. If you see, if it says gel medium, right, and it says matte, what it means is it's a medium body and it's a matte finish. If it says ultra matte, it's an ultra matte finish. So is that bad? No, not at all. If what you want is an ultra matte finish. If you're trying to extend heavy body paint, you're going to want a heavy gel. If you are trying to, keep the gloss the same, you would do gloss. If you're trying to matte your paint, you would do matte. The matte or gloss or semi-gloss is the finish of shine that any of the stuff gives. I'm going to come back into my original gray here. I'm just going to keep blending it. And then back into the phthalo green and burnt sienna. You can see this is getting quite misty though.
It is getting misty.
It's getting misty. I'm coming with a little bit of brown here. Keep lightening it up here. I really want to capture that value. And I'm correcting for the fact that there's color shift in paint, right? So our acrylics dry darker. So that's why I keep working this in, trying to make sure that what I have is a very light background that will be peeking through my trees. You can see I'm just blending right along that little edge there so that there's sort of, it's going to be defined area, but it is nice, if possible, to keep that soft. I'm rinsing my brush out and I'm going to kind of lightly go over it. This is the only reason why I'm not at all gaga on goat's brushes is that they just hold so much water once they're wet. It's hard to get the water out of them, but there's nothing wrong with them. And if you have a goat blender, you're fine. You don't have to go out and get a new brush. Okay, so we're just going to get a nice blend. And this is Blendy Layer 1. But look, we're starting to get a nice blend on Blendy Layer 1. Isn't like a nice blend on Blendy Layer 1?
Yeah.
We all do. All right, let's dry this thoroughly. Great, because this is a nice base. And what you're going to want is you can have a pretty okay line here, but you're going to want a really soft transition through these areas. And you're going to want to have it be light here up in the center. And we may even lighten it more as we get branches. John, can you mute me? I think I'm going to hiccup.
So she's going to dry the surface there. And I think someone was asking if that was a pre-painted or did Cinnamon paint that hair dryer. that came that way. It was, I don't even know where we got that, but it came all painted up that way. It was just sort of a cute thing that she did for the show. We picked up for the show. I'm not sure where we got it. Probably Amazon, because, you know, pandemic times, we all got things from Amazon. So this is step time?
Step time.
There we go.
Woohoo! So, C. Blanton is saying, Brush Guys had a buy one, get one free, and they sent me a goat blender. I believe the Art Sherpa code, discount code still works there. I just don't know if they ever actually pay commissions anymore. Because I think they finally started paying my mom's commissions again, but I don't know that they did. So I'm not 100% sure, but I don't mind you guys getting the discount at all. I think it still works. The goat blender, the thing is, like, Color by Felix, right, loves a goat blender, and you can see it gets a great result. But if you observe when he's doing the backgrounds that there's a foaming in the paint, that foaming is something that can come up in acrylic, and the goat blenders tend to make that worse. Now, he works it out through his blending process, right? But when you're a beginner and you're trying to use a blending brush, that extra challenge can be way more than you can take on. But once you're used to blending brushes, you can absolutely use a goat or any type of hair and get good results out of it. You just have to sort of have the basic concept down, which is why I tend to lean into synthetics with beginners. That was my thinking on that. Did we get a picture and a step and got all the stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
We got the stuffs. All right. I think I'm going to actually do a filbert on this just because I like them for sketching. And I may even put my dividing lines back, my chalk lines back, so that I sketch in the tree. I have a good sense of where I want to put it. All right, so I'm going to take my T-square out. If you're using the traceable, this is when I would transfer the image on the canvas. So I'm going to, again, 6 and 4.5, 6 vertically and on this vertical line, and 4.5 on the horizontal line. Generally, this is enough to help me do object placement in any canvas, plein air painting, anywhere I'm painting. I can generally get what I'm going for from this division because it just breaks the canvas up into 4s. Let's take our filbert. You could use a round or bright, whatever you feel comfortable kind of sketching with. All right. Now, right about here, I'm going to start, and I think I'll begin with a black. I'm going to begin to make a little mark across. This is my trunk. This is going to be different than any tree I've ever really taught, except that one autumn landscape where we started to have twisted, fused branches and all of those things. This is really different. And the reason I don't generally teach this tree is because it just overwhelms the brain. But if you've done a couple trees, this is a really satisfying one to do. I'm going to bring a little line up, and it kind of maybe is going to come bendy over. Maybe move it down. Just kind of enjoy the sketching in period. Observe your subject or enjoy your traceable. Either is fine.
Yep.
I've also got a bit of a log. Sort of a stump that's cut and fallen over, right? I'm just catching the scale of it. So almost to the halfway point of this space over here. And then it kind of comes off, and some of the log comes off that way. So these were like roots that got cut off.
Right.
Bring a little line over. These branches are gnarled. That's just effect. Does paint a little kind of bump in the branch. We got to capture all these twists. There we go. That's a nice little kind of runaway branch there. Let's bring one up here. Many of the branches coming off this main tree will be super fused together. So what I'm trying to do is just think of them as like main arteries coming off. I'm just getting some of the main arteries in so that I can do the distant leaves and things. I can always thicken a branch. It's tough to thin it. So that's why I'm simplifying at this stage. I'm going to come over and work on the right hand side a little bit. Now, you're going to be like, whoa, because this is thicker than what's attached. But because the branches are coming together and twisting and fusing, we're going to have areas of thickness and unexpected places. I don't need to get every tiny little branch that's weaving through here at this stage. I just kind of need to know where my major structures are. Where my positive, that's the tree, and my negative spaces, those are the spaces between the tree are. Bring a little opening here. So that's what I'm kind of drawing, is the solid spaces, not every branch that's twisting and gnarling through, but where the openings are and where the trunk is. And kind of the basic shape of that. If we do good at this, we can keep doing it. Keep doing these fun, deep dives.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of take a look at that now. Do you have to be perfect to the reference, the traceable, or my painting? You do not. What you want to catch from this is the effects of atmospheric perspective, the way we're blending the backgrounds. You're going to be catching the way that branches twist and turn away from you. You might have every branch I have. You might have less branches. That is not the most important thing. The most important thing are the techniques that build a tree like this. There's quite an interesting mass coming from the tree. I think a lot of you guys noticed there was almost like a face in the tree or a woman in the tree, which I thought was interesting because I saw that too and was like, I wonder. Did we just hear something get delivered? Could it be a camera? All right. Just kind of a basic sketching, right? So we know where the biggest structures of the tree are. And we've really got to come in here through the background and blend in little leaves, little distant branches, things that are in this far off distance. We're going to be painting sort of in these negative spaces between this background of the distant fallen leaves and the beginning of the far forest and in the sky and the little bits of canopy leaves that allow light to come through. Do you guys love it? It's a step. How are you doing? Take a deep breath. Now, on Patron paintings, if you want to throw them in group and you have questions, I will check for that, and if there's a video response I can do for that, I will try to. Sometimes it works for you guys, and sometimes it doesn't, but I'll try to put that in the comments of your questions. It's not an official thing, and I don't tell everybody I do that because we would be overwhelmed. But if you want to put a thing in, and if you want to have a question about something, especially where we've got these broken a week apart and I can get a chance to answer some questions about it, you're welcome to do that. If that seems exciting to you. And that's also true whenever you do this as a patron later or with other patron pieces that you have. If you want to ask me a question about a painting, like what could I do to improve this, or how could I get this technique, or anything like that, throw that up there, and I will ask the group mods to kind of keep an eye out for those and make sure that there's a little grouping of them so I can get on there and sort of answer them while I'm chilling on my iPad. Does that sound good? I think we're going to call this a step.
We just did.
Oh, good. Now I'm going to start working some background here. Background. I'm going to add, I think I'm going to even go ahead and pull a little yellow in out here on this mix right now. I don't know if I will need it that much, but I'm going to pull that. And I'm going to get my busy reference out of the way and get my nice clear reference. Now in this space here, I'm going to mix in, I'm going to take a round blender. What is that? Is that camera? It's so sad. And I'm going to load up my round. This is a domed round blender. Man, this is a brush I would get if you can get a brush. If it's possible to get a brush, this is by Princeton. When I make brushes, I'm going to have a round blender like this, but it'll be soft instead of like the cloud brushes, which were scumble. And we will have one of these. I'm going to continue to sort of just mix this in. I want a very light value. And get it a little wet, wipe off the extra water. I think at the top of this, I might put like just a little more blue up here. And I'm blending it in.
Blend it in there.
Yeah. Adding more white to my brush as I come down. And my paint is drying on my canvas so quickly today. I think I am going to get some blending medium out. So
I wonder what that's about. Why is it drying so fast today?
I have the vent going on me.
Oh, the air conditioner. Oh, that's what it is. Is that we had the house open there for a little while.
We had the house open, but there's an ozone warning today. So what is this? If you've never seen this, this is another, if you're going to, you don't have to invest in everything that you see on my show, but this, if you can, the gloss glazing liquid. Now you can get it in semi, matte, or gloss. And it slows down the drying time of the paint and extends the paint, but it does not thicken the paint. So it doesn't make your heavy body stay thick, but it will allow you to blend and glaze. And it will be my friend here. Because I can kind of just come in and you can see it does really improve the quality of the blending in that space. Let me get a little of my gray here. Might add a little more blue to it. Get a little white. Come right up to the trunk. I want to create sort of a soft fog.
Yep.
Yeah. You can do this with water. It just, you'll have to like watch for underbinding. And sometimes you can do this effect with just speed. But I don't want to paint that fast on you guys.
Do you have your little humidifier gizmo-y?
No, it's out of power right now.
Oh.
I'm going to add a little bit of my phthalo blue and burnt sienna. I'm going to come up here. And then I'm going to get right into my burnt sienna on this brush. And I'm going to tap in. Notice that these are distant fall leaves, aren't they? I'm working wet into wet so that they're blending in and they're falling into that. I can always
That's what
get
makes
a little,
it so.
yeah. That's looking pretty good. That's a nice bunch of blending. Hi, Crystal Blake, who's been a member for 14 months of emojis.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I saw that come up there too. Been here a minute. Thank you. We really appreciate your support.
So I hope that question that answered the question about the gel. A lot of times if we're having patron lives, if you have a question in group and I have a longer answer for it, I might give it in the live that day. All right. A little bit of the white.
We continue.
And some small amount of phthalo blue. Just going to work this through here. Scumble. I know what you mean. And also here. Very light, isn't it? I might get a little of the blue on my brush for up here at the top. See how that's blending down in? And up here at the top. Bella says, thank you for today's tutorial. And I'm going to say thank you for coming to today's tutorial, Bella. Bella, I really appreciate it. Just keep blending that through.
So nice to have everybody here.
It really is. Now, we've got some very light colored leaves that we've got to do. And I think we're going to come through and get these values between the branches first and through this area first, and then try to come back and get the most distant leaves, the softest leaves. You guys were in such awe of this reference photo that we're going to paint, instead of painting really loosely to the reference photo, we're going to paint a little more to the reference photo, if that makes sense.
All right, yeah.
Because you guys were super excited about it. So whenever you're super excited about that, and you know, on the patrons especially, I don't have to worry about getting it done in one, and you know, I don't have to be as concerned about the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we can just be much more concerned with just the class.
Yep. That is true. I think we can be.
But you can see this is just a lot lighter than you think to paint sky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Smidge of the blue into my paint. We had a crazy day yesterday. We took the kids out.
We did.
For the first time in a minute. And we went to Texas Art Supply, and we went to the Houston Aquarium. And I guess in between us, we went through one hurricane with them and had seen a rebuild, but they had a much bigger hurricane, which took out most of the exhibits. They were under 27 feet of water there. So that was really interesting seeing that.
Was it 27? I thought it was like 18 and 7.
No, I think they said 27. Really? I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's a lot. It's more than I had.
Was maybe.
That's just either what. Both of those are
terrible.
Yeah, both of those are bad numbers of amounts of water.
Especially for the sharks, because like a bunch of freshwater, street water, all this stuff hit the. So my favorite thing is to go through the train, and the train goes through the shark tank, and there's like a tunnel, an acrylic tunnel. Well, that all filled up with like a crazy mix of city, brackish water, all this stuff. And it did in the sharks, except this one shark.
Sawtooth?
The sawtooth, yeah. It was like still there going, no, I live.
Yeah.
And they usually tell this joke about how like, you know, great white got away from them and they've been looking for it up and down the Gulf Coast, and then it almost gets you. It's kind of inspired by Universal Studios Jaws tour. Except that now that's not funny. Because you're like, you might have actually lost one now. I don't really know how I feel about it.
And because those great whites keep popping up in those unexpected places, like, no, sharks don't come into the river. And they're like, wait, we have river sharks. Sorry about that, guys.
So for tiny details, try the Princeton Select. This is a #1 liner. The Selects have a bunch of tiny brushes. The other one you can try is that Simply Simmons has a bunch of short-handled detail brushes that do also hold up. After that, you can do the Ruby Satins. They have a really good series of liners.
Huh.
But sometimes the ferrules fall off.
That's a bummer.
It kind of is. It's a little bit of a bummer. I have to agree. It's a bit of a bummer. Now this is interesting over here because I've actually got to come in with kind of a more dark green and then speckle in little bits of blue light.
Oh,
I
speckled
know.
blue light.
It's got a speckle of blue light. What do you guys think of that?
Speckly.
Crystal Blake's like, hey, John, how do I send you guys money? Well, you kind of are because you're patroning.
You're patroning. You're helping us.
We do have a gratuity tab on the website. But listen, on all of this stuff, patroning, like we never remove anybody from patronage, even if, you can't currently, cover that, because once a patron, always a patron. And then we have the gratuities, but I don't ever want anyone to stress out their finances.
Right.
Like we appreciate the help. It helps us. It helps us replace cameras and things. But I do want you guys to remember to stay very, very vigilant on your own budget.
Now, if there's anything, if our website doesn't accommodate any of the needs that you guys want, you can reach out to us directly at support@theartsherpa.com, and we are always there to try to help out our patrons.
Always, always. Well, all of our community, but
yeah, I mean, like you guys make everything we do possible. So if
right. We tend to.
If you're needing help with anything, just
ask.
Just drop us there.
It's not a problem at all. I'm coming here and I'm adding a very light kind of opening keyhole. And I'm going to come in maybe like right here. And I'm going to actually put a little bit of my phthalo blue. And this is going to be interesting. And cad yellow and white. And we're going to kind of blue-green this right here. But see how it's still super light? It's still super light. I'm going to get my burnt sienna over to my phthalo blue and kind of create a blue-green. And I'm going to definitely get my glazing medium on here, and we're going to just softly start to glaze in that misty background. You can see me wiping off and controlling my paint load on my palette, and I'm tapping. This also helps, by the way, because look, the brush does a really good bush. This brush does really good bushes and really good.
It's very scumbly.
It's very scumbly, and it does nice patternings. And come right into my burnt sienna and a little of my phthalo blue. I mean, ultramarine blue. I'm going to come here and kind of press into this. Those distant little, see how the bank is not quite as bright. And as I move it forward, what will happen is we put in more and more of the brighter leaves coming forward. This will feel much more muted as we go back. I'm going to really love this. I know that I am. Notice I'm just kind of trying to create diffused effect here. I can always come back and add in.
Add.
All right. Now, there are other ways, like YouTube has a way that you can send money through Super Chat, and there's another one that's on comments. And that does come to us, but that's run through YouTube. So if you send it from YouTube through the YouTube system, we do see that though. They have a dashboard and they let us see that that's happened.
Yeah.
So it's not invisible to us. I am now just tapping in, kind of creating that implied bit of, oh gosh, it's like almost like there's dappled light coming through there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. We're just taking our time. We're just doing it right. We're just going through, building a tree, building a tree and hanging out with each other. Hanging out. Who's going to be here next Monday at 1 to hang out again? Hopefully everybody. I'm going to come and pull a little of my phthalo green out. And I'm going to get a lot of my burnt sienna. Maybe even a little of my Mars black. Adding a little white to it. Now through here, these are very distant little light leaves.
Thank you, Crystal. I just saw that come in from the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sometimes I get little notifications, so we appreciate you going out there and finding it, Crystal. That was awesome. Thank you.
This is always awesome.
I just, it doesn't put up in chat the same way, so I just thought I would say, because I just happened to see everything come in.
Definitely get some white into there. Because we're going to be coming back with little branches and implications of leaves. And this is also still misty, guys. Still misty over here. So, burnt sienna, phthalo green. I'm taking it over here. Burnt sienna, phthalo green. A little Mars black if you need it, and some white. We're going to be layering up, so I don't want you to stress. We're building up layers. Nicola Girdwood says, thank you for making my Monday night relaxing and enjoyable. You are so welcome. I need my Monday paints to be relaxing too.
Everybody does, I think.
Yeah, sometimes we just need a chill paint. Chill paint. And Michelle says, I love hanging out with y'all. Don't get too often. So thank you so much. I love that you're here and that you guys get to hang out and we get to have this kind of mellow time. All phthalo green and burnt sienna and a little bit of white. I might even get a little into the glaze a bit just so that it's transparent, and that will also help it feel distant and out of focus. I'm going to come above this branch some. And again, we're going to be putting details in. Details. It's going to be not a fun time lapse for John to make.
Oh, it should be good. We're still on the same step here.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I have a little step panic. I go, wait.
Again, and I'm going to try not to wear you out because this is a big project. I did this with a still life years ago where we did a big involved still life and we just broke it down for a week, but we met every day for an hour.
Yep.
We're gonna like give you guys a chance to catch up, rewatch, do your thing, ask questions, and just have a very chill paint, because the goal here is for you guys to get the painting you're trying to get. Notice that I'm tapping this. Now on these, I do like, again, I think you can do things with different brushes. I could do this technique with a hog brush, but I do think that this is a good brush to get. Princeton Select, number 12 round blender, number 1 liner, 1-inch oval mop. I will have them for sale soon, I think, on my website. Yes? Maybe. I think so.
Yes. Well, I think so. Technically speaking, patrons, you guys are going to have access to the website here very soon.
The new store.
Yeah, the new store, and we're going to incentivize you guys to come and use the new store with spectacularly low prices, because we need to test things. We actually need people to buy stuff and send it to them and see how that works, and for you guys to get it and go, we like the packaging, everything is good, you can turn this on for the rest of the world. Or at least what we're going to do for here in North America.
Yeah, I wish it's not going to be Canada immediately or globally immediately. We are going to look for a partner once we have sent, like when we go to Ireland. That will allow us to create a global relationships.
Yep.
But right now we have North America locked down.
Yeah.
We're just kind of adding this little distant foggy fog in. Look at us foggy fogging.
Yep.
Nicola says, I'm definitely going for this painting. And Crystal Blake, can't stay, folks. I have an appointment at noon. I'll take care of you. Have a great appointment. I hope everything goes really, really, really well. Miss you today while you go. We'll think of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for the store either. There's been so much work has been done by the team and John on this store. I just make ridiculous demands of what I feel like I want for you guys, and then go, I don't know, make it work.
It's really Donna.
Yeah.
Donna's been like really, really making sure that we could do the production while she's helping make sure that the team is assembling for that. You're right. So we only have United States set up right now, not Canada or Mexico.
I wish we did.
Yeah, but we're working on those
We're
things.
working on it. That's what the move to Ireland will help us do.
Yes.
Not just really cool overseas retreats, but it will help us. Can we do overhead view real quick? It will help us be able to make sure that our entire community around the globe also has, we want to change, I mean, just like in a mission statement, we want to change how the experience of art supplies is, especially for new artists. And so we have a lot of very lofty goals for our website, which involve quite a lot of work for John and I. But I think we'll make the shopping experience online less hit or miss.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's kind of hit or miss in the art store because you can't really squeeze out the tubes of paint and see what's going on there. And you don't have the information you need. Like, is this water sensitive? Is it, does it dry? Like, there's weird little things. Like, so I have, at least for our materials, our specific art materials, lots of sort of weird little insights. And then I think your experience of being able to see what stuff is in what it looks like out of the tube will be really, really good, instead of little tiny itty bitty thumbnails of color that you can't, who knows what that even means. Like, it's maybe a light yellow, who knows? I don't know. Like, I want you to know. And so that's our goal. That's the goal that we've set for ourselves. We want it to be a fair price. Nicola's like, I'm ready for the store to be open. We're so ready for the store to be open. I want things to be a fair price. One of the things, I love my Amazon store. I try to keep stuff in there. But the issue, and the reason I always recommend that website, and if you shop on Amazon at all, you got to use it. Camel, camel, camel. It's 3 camels together into one word. And it tells you if they're price gouging, because they price gouge. I think we can all recognize that coming out of a global tragedy, the economy is going to be crazy. I think we're all grown-ups. We all know that. I think we know that corporations are going to be greedy. I think we know that. But this has gotten out of hand. And for art supplies, I just want to see you guys get the best shake that you can get. And have the best chance. And sometimes that sort of opportunistic gouging really deeply bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it bothers you. Just fair is fair and a deal's a deal. And if your cost goes up, I recognize that I need to pay more. I get that. I do that. If cost goes up, I need to pay more. I understand that. You understand that. But if your cost isn't significantly going up and you don't actually have a supply chain issue and you're gouging me, then I have an issue. So that's just something we want to see if we can. Well, I'm never going to gouge you guys, but that we see if we can make better for our experience in the store.
Is this a step?
This is a step, but I think we're coming up on an hour. Let's go a little bit longer. Let's call it a step, and we'll go through step 7, and then we'll break, because that won't be too bad to catch up on. You guys will be able to start kind of getting in there. Maybe. Now, I have back here in the background, kind of like, especially in this low range area, lots of weird little twiggly bits and details and things that I want to kind of think about and start to represent, and a lot of like depth. So I'm going to start working down here and through here, and we'll get this low area kind of started. And that way when we come back, and again, if this takes 3, then we'll do 3. We're just going to meet on Mondays at 1. And I'll make sure you guys have links to lessons. And then after we finish this, we're going to do the bear in watercolor, but we're really, really going to do the bear. Will we learn about the store opening via Facebook and email or what? Facebook and email, a newsletter, Facebook, a newsletter. And I think that's our best way to let you guys know. I'll put it in the community tab on YouTube for those who have YouTube memberships and who are doing Emoji Club. But we'll put that there is in the Facebook group and an email. So we have a newsletter and it's for patrons. If you're not getting a newsletter, write support@theartsherpa.com and we'll try to help you troubleshoot why that might be. Does that sound nice? I think that sounds very nice. All right, I'm going to get my little hog brush and I'm going to come here and we're going to work a bit of our burnt sienna and our phthalo green, and you can see it's a bit darker here. Can even get a little ultramarine blue in there. And I'm going to start to tap up some, I don't know, these are like little bushes and leaves, and I'm just using the brush's roughness to create some variance there. Let's just take our time with it. As it comes further back here, it is going to get darker. It just is. And as it comes forward, it's going to get a little bit lighter. So those are things to think about. I'm going to even pull a little bit of my yellow down here, so when it's coming up towards the front, see how I mix cad yellow into the burnt sienna, a little ultramarine, and phthalo green. So if I come forward, it can be a little more in the yellow, and I can even glaze that a bit. What I want to do is, I'm not trying to make snow, I'm just trying to think about the way leaves, right, happen in the forest. Little shelves. There we go. Just working on those a bit. Do we get the newsletter if we are in the UK, or is it just USA? The wonderful thing about our newsletter is it's global. Not all the things are global, but the newsletter is global. And if you're in the UK, when we get to Ireland, I do plan to do a meetup of some kind. I don't know what it's going to be yet because I haven't been there. But I'm going to do a meetup of some kind. Something.
I would love to do meetups.
And just add a little more yellow, and I'm just coming kind of forward. You can even kind of get into the black over here. Because remember, black and yellow also make a green, so it's not going to really pull us away. And I'm going to add a little white to it to gray it. Look at that. See how we're just making little leaves in the distance, in the misty mists. Little leaves in the misty mists. Now as I come further back, I'm going to be a little more burnt umber, burnt sienna, phthalo green. And I'm going to make it darker back here. Michelle says, what is the Emoji Club? Emoji Club is on YouTube. If you join the first tier of support on YouTube, and it looks like you do because you have a little horse next to you, you should have emojis that only members get.
Right.
I change them out on occasion. Every so often, if we grow enough, I get to give you guys a new emoji. I don't think YouTube takes them away if we shrink back down, but they make you grow like a lot to give you a new one. But they're just different little characters that you can throw up during the chat that are about our channel and what we do. I'm going to just continue to put this out. You can see it's just deepening the color. We're just deepening it. Just little marks. We're not solidly painting though. We're trying to create little marks and values. A little bit of our dark green. Just touch out little areas. As I'm going forward, I can always add a little white into that mix, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm definitely going to have to come back and put in sky, real bright pops of sky of like just little bits of light peeking through if I want it to look like that sort of deep wooded area. Ooh, we gotta love to travel. And Aideen says, looking forward to the Irish meetup. I am looking. Did I say that correctly? Aideen? Is it Aideen or Aideen? I think it's Aideen. But you can tell me in person if you come to the meetup. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to move to Ireland. Every time some part of our move or business or visas or anything comes through, I'm always like,
inch forward.
Every time they inch forward, I'm just like so excited.
Yeah, me too.
Ah, look at that. Look at that. And I'm definitely going to be leaning into that lifestyle. Well, I mean, my mom and I, we kind of are talkers, and we just haven't met a stranger. You know, we're just all, like, but that can be kind of weird. But like there, it's not weird at all. It's like you can get to just know a new person, and that's completely normative. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So I'm just kind of getting those little leaves
me too.
Set back there. And we're going to even darken this even as we go, right? We're just building up. Let's just get our layers. As I come up, I can add a little bit of the cad yellow to it. That way I can kind of alternate between these dark ones and some cad yellow. See how we're just touching that there? We're doing good. All right. Oh, Heather C misses the TARDIS emoji. Well, I mean, you could come back. I think we moved it for an acrylic April. Because again, they give me a limited one.
You can
I get
cycle.
limited emojis.
You could cycle them.
Yeah. So I cycle through. And we're finally just stabilized enough where I could cycle a new emoji.
Yeah.
Adding a little bit of yellow to this and a little more brown. Did you see that? Just put a little more brown in there. And that pulls me into kind of an interesting fall space, right?
Yeah.
In between the phthalo blue and burnt sienna and the little bit of cad red. If you add the brown back in, it takes it into sort of a desaturated fall leaf as well. And come over here and add a little bit of ultramarine blue to the mix. Okay, tap out a little shape there. Just gonna roll that. Oh, Robin B, member for 23 months. Hello. How are you doing? So we're gonna just relax through this. If you are new to painting, what you may find hard about this is the stamina and just slowing down and making little marks.
It's good though. Take the time and slow down.
It's very important to take the time to slow down and make little marks. Add a little more burnt through here. I get a little yellow on there. You can see it just lets me break up these leaves. Remember I told you could glaze them in? So they're just a little more transparent, see? You're still making marks, but they're transparent ones. How lovely is that for creating soft and distant?
I love how the leaves form the depth with the way you make the colors and stuff come together.
Yeah. This is going to be like one of those canvases that you fall into. We're going to fall into this painting. Nicola's like, oh, I need to go to one of the YouTube videos to join it. You should be able to join from this one, I think. But it's under memberships, so it goes community tab memberships. It's under memberships. If you're a patron through our website and you want Emoji Club, you got to add that through YouTube. I wish we could gift it to you. We can't. If you're a YouTube patron, it comes with that, but then you got to come over and let us know you joined through YouTube so we can make sure that you get your dashboard and all of your stuff. Because, there's not an auto feature to like hook that up. And it's important that we build this up.
Little layer at a time.
Yeah, just however long it takes. We're just going to paint with each other and paint the ultimate fall tree. We do a Christmas painting too like this, and I think we're going to start trying to do some landscapes and alternating between acrylic and watercolor where we just do some more deep dives. I'm not really doing those on the channel anymore, so the only place to get this is through the patronage. Jessica, hello, how are you doing? Thank you for the donuts. Building up. Yep. Not quick. Not quick. Add a little bit of ultramarine blue.
It doesn't have to be quick, though.
No, it doesn't. It can be. Sometimes it's lovely to have a quick painting. Coming down with just a little bit more ultramarine blue into this mix. And you can see it sort of deepens and cools it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to kind of work through the base here with this because there's always sort of a cooler mist at the where the land and the forest start to go back.
Right.
I've got a lot of glaze on my brush, and that's helping with the transparency of everything. Michelle says we don't dry the canvas after a layer. Well, here's the thing. We're doing so much work and we're going so slowly is drying as we're working.
Yeah.
So if your paint is staying very wet and it isn't layering well on top of it, you can dry it to control that. If you're having what I have, which is that it's drying as I work because I'm just very slowly building up layers, you may not need to dry. That's super based on the experience that you're having, just generally. I may have to, I probably won't save this paint, this exact paint. So I'll take a picture of this palette.
Yeah.
Because we'll have several paintings between this class and the next class. For the holiday projects. So I'll be sure and kind of save that for you.
Yeah.
Just coming through here and making sure that this background, even over here, has a bit of texture of the forest. Texture of the forest. You gotta love a little texture of the forest, don't you?
There it is. You're texturing the other side of the forest now.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. When we finish this step, we will rest for the day. I'll let you guys catch up. Feel free to share it in group, ask questions. I will make sure that you guys have access to the links for each step. If you got the newsletter, you have both, but I'll put them in the comments of the first video so that if you're coming back later, all you've got to do is save that first video. But I do recommend, saving your patron playlist and saving the videos when you watch them. But if ever you can't find them, you just email us and we'll help you find them.
Yeah.
We will help you. I'm going to come here and kind of mix a little bit of that through. Well, this is interesting. There's one that's got a very light version of this that I'm going to go ahead and put some white into, but also some glaze. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I roll my brush a lot to make sure that the marks have variance.
You have different little approach each one.
Yeah, different little one. These are leaves that are kind of far back and we can see the sky kind of peeking through, but they're not.
Yeah.
The glaze can help me here. Also is another way to lighten a color because it's transparent, makes it transparent, and then what's coming through also impacts it. So that can be really rather lovely. Jessica, I'm sure this has been asked a million times already, but how do I get the patron dashboard added? You can ask that as many times. Write support at theartsherpa.com and put the title Need Patron Dashboard.
Yep.
Yeah. And we will hook you up. If you want to be in the Facebook group, you come by and just, answer the questions and we can put you in the Facebook group. Our patronage is just on the honor system. We are not here to gatekeep you guys.
Once a patron, always a patron.
Kind of once a patron, always a patron. So we are not at all here to gatekeep or any of that. I'm going to go back into my darker color over here where the ultramarine blue was, into the, if you remember, Phthalo Green, Burnt Sienna, look, had yellow at one point, Mars Black came over. It's really become quite a deep variance of greens and blues. But this we want to be more blue. This one's going to feel a little more like an actual branch.
Right.
Hopefully it has a little more structure to it, like an actual branch. Well, they're all actual branches, but one that's a little more in our focus.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to put a little bit here. Maybe a smidge right there. Guys, I think this was a lot. Let's call this a step. I think we've done a lot.
This is the end of a step.
This is the end of the step. You want to be here or as close to here as you can before the next class, if it's possible. But of course you can join if you're not done yet. But do come by. If you have a question, you can throw those in the patron group. So here's what I would love. A picture of where you're at, a good picture so I can see it. And then a clear question of like what it is that, you're wanting to know, like, because sometimes you guys just need assurance to know that you're doing okay. But sometimes you have really specific questions. So just like as much as you can, let me know what's going on with you. And I will try to help you get the best that you can out of your painting. How do you like it so far? I think we're getting in there.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think everyone is going to just adore this when it's done. And I'm glad we're not powering through a multi-hour class in one sitting because it's so exhausting. It lets our minds rest and our bodies rest and our spirits rest. And then we can come back and continue on in the painting. I'm going to be leaving these up. These will remain up. I'm sorry to ask, but which platform do I send the at Art Sherpa? For the question? I am Nicola. I'm not sure which one you're asking. What specifically you're asking, send at Art Sherpa. So if you could email support at the Art Sherpa. Says Jen Butterfly, who understands everything. So good at communication. Thank you, Jen. All right, get here, guys. I think you're doing really good. Thank you for being a patron. We were able to replace, we've lost cables.
Oh, the broadcaster itself?
Yeah, we've lost cables. We lost a whole camera. We have some other stuff that is threatening. We've had to replace technical equipment, like we had to replace computers. So the moving has not been easy on the equipment.
No.
And your support has made it possible for us to do this and not freak out over it. And we really appreciate it. So if you're like, is this meaningful? It is. At least to us and our family. It's very, very, very meaningful. I want you guys to be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And I will see you next Monday at 1 o'clock.